Hello everybody, this is Demon Phoenix. We are back with a Signs build. As you can see, we are wearing the Griffin set, and this is a build that is piercing cold using Aard and Yrden, and we've also got Entanglement on the chest piece, and it's really good in patch 4.0 with the rebalances. Just a quick thing, I know that the gamma and the brightness is very high. It looks different when I'm actually playing the game to how the clips come out, and so I'll try and tweak it for future videos, so don't mention it if you can help it, because I know about it. I'll try and fix it. You can see that we've got this really cool Forgotten Woven set, which is new to the 4.0 update. It's got really cool new quest. The swords look really ace, and they've got some fun bonuses. Basically, the 6-piece set is that Aard deals additional damage to enemies when affected by Yrden. So I'm going to revisit that because that is a cool bonus, and you could use this set for the build. But most of the time, it's better to be using the Griffin one. If you want the max effectiveness, it will be this, which is the Griffin, and we've got it in blue because it's Aard themed, you see. And basically this build revolves around using the Ancient Lesson Decoction and the Echidna Decoction, and a full Piercing Cold build with a little bit of General and Alchemy support. So we've got all of the Aard skills. We've got Far Reaching Aard and Aard Sweep, which are always there, but Aard Intensity is now worth using, and Shockwave, the damage dealt by Aard, will now deal damage and scale with enemy level. This is really good and synergizes perfectly with a Piercing Cold build. We've got Fire Stream, can be useful for just golems and things like that, tends to melt their health pretty quickly. Sustained Glyphs from Magic Trap in the Yrden tree. Then we've got the Yrden Intensity bonus, and this are Supercharged Glyphs, where enemies under the influence of Yrden lose health over time, and that is really effective. And then we have Active Shield, which I always forget about, to be honest, but you can get a bit of health back with that, although most of the healing will be from the 2 decoctions. You could try and squeeze Quen Discharge in, but I feel there are better things to have. Griffin School Technique's really important. That stamina regeneration is not 5%, it's by 5 stamina points per second per piece of gear. That's really good. And Adrenaline Burst. Using signs generates adrenaline points, and as you can see from the description on the right of the mutation, the freezing enemies chance scales with your adrenaline points, so you want signs to build adrenaline. We've got Acquired Tolerance so that we have enough toxicity to use 2 decoctions, and then we've got Protective Coating. This build can be quite squishy, and when I'm messing around, especially in the Nilfgaardian camp and stuff, you really notice the difference, so that's good. You could use Delayed Recovery on all of the potions, but actually I've gone with Fast Metabolism because we want to use the decoctions with this build. So Fast Metabolism there lets you use potions on top of the 2 or 3 decoctions that we're going to be using. We also add Synergy to boost the blue mutagens. So we've got the Echidna Decoction. The Griffin gear lets you use stamina to cast the sign and then cast the standard sign again, and that first cast will give you health back. We've also got the Ancient Lesson Decoction. Every sign you use now has been corrected so that it boosts your stamina regeneration for the remainder of the fight, which is amazing. And you can also use the Troll Decoction if you want to use 3, just to offset the damage you're taking from the toxicity, particularly out of battle. We've got the full Steel Sword and Silver Sword Griffin set with 6 pieces of that gear. The size of the Yrden traps increased by 40%, and when you're in within an Yrden trap, you get bonuses like you take less damage and your sign intensity is increased by 100%. That's amazing, and that's why the Griffin set of having the full set is so powerful. So we've got Entanglement there as well. When a trap set by Yrden hits an enemy, an Yrden glyph is placed there. So you use Magic Trap, and then that zaps arrows out of the air, and it also hits the enemies, and when it hits them, it makes another full Yrden trap, which gives you those bonuses, and it's just really synergistic. Oh, it's so good. You'll see a little bit later on. Here I do put Igni glyphs and Quen glyphs, but really I would probably recommend, if you just want to go with Greater Glyphs of Aard and Greater Glyphs of Yrden, and maybe split those like 4-2 one way or the other, or 3-3 and just have 3 of each between your 3 pieces of gear. And this is really powerful. I had Rejuvenation as the enchantment on the swords, by the way, but we very rarely actually kill enemies with the swords, so there isn't one that really stands out, so I just went with Rejuvenation in case you get the odd sword kill. So combat will normally look like this. You want to start off with the double casting of Quen and Yrden. Keeping Quen up's really important. Yrden very good. It boosts that 100% sign intensity, and you take reduced damage while standing in it. The resistances are alright, but it's quite a snowbally build. No pun intended with it being piercing cold. But you can see there you start off with that 49 stamina regeneration per second in combat, and that's very strong to start off with. But now you can use your superior Tornial, superior Petri's filter. With fast metabolism, you can either use the 2 decoctions, so Ancient Lesson and Echidna, then use a couple of potions on top, or you can just use Troll Decoction as the third one, and then use potions when fast metabolism taking that toxicity down. Now you see there, Aard Sweep smashed everybody over, and then you just start snowballing with that. So you use the Aard Sweep to get yourself that space, get a Quen on, and then be able to use the magic glyph. And you can see it zapping stuff there, and it's making these new huge Yrden traps. They are bigger because you've got the 6-sec bonus for Griffin, and basically it's very like the old version of this build, which I'd done a video on, but you can get down the trees quicker, and everything's more effective and remains effective right throughout the game. So you can see I just feel it's like really fun, and you can hit from absolutely miles away. You can see how far away you can hit with Aard and with Aard Sweep. So Aard Sweep hits all around, and even though it only uses half your stamina bar, it counts as stamina usage. So the Echidna Decoction will heal you still. It's really fun. So you just keep those magic traps down. That's very important because you do still take quite a lot of damage. So you want to be stopping projectiles where possible, like enemies' arrows and things. And as you can see, I just nipped back in the menu after this little bit of fighting, and we're at 109 stamina regeneration a second, and that's the Ancient Lesson Decoction. So look at the stamina bar, the yellow bar just flies up. You have got active shield if you want a bit of healing, but you can see there you really need to be watching your health bar a little bit, because you're not as tanky with this. But every time you cast regular Aard or regular Yrden or any of the regular signs, Igni, if it uses your stamina, then you will get health back. So that's how you maintain health, and that's why the Echidna Decoction is very useful. And I think it's better to have the fast metabolism on this build, because you do want to use those specific decoctions, and then just sort of supplement it with a bit of potion use on top. So the potions you'd normally be using were superior Petri filter, superior swallow, and then maybe superior Maribor for that bit of adrenaline, and maybe superior blizzard if you wanted you will just get the short boost from it, because you've got the regular length of potions, not the delayed recovery. Now, this build is also very, very good against monsters, because everything's been rebalanced, so the enemies in New Game Plus don't have the mental sign resistance that they used to, so you can still use it very effectively. Absolutely love it. You have the option to use superior Golden Oriole versus things like Archospores and these giant centipedes, and you see that magic trap will zap them, and then that'll trap them because it will make an Yrden trap there. So loads of cool synergies with this, and Piercing Cold, as you can see, it doesn't just gradually, the Yrden gradually whittles down the health, but like fairly quickly. And Aard, you can like double cast it and do these big chunks of damage on things from a safe distance, and using Aard to disable them. And then you've got Igni's burning if you want as well. Entanglement's really difficult to give up, because otherwise I'd be very tempted to use rotation, which makes Igni hit all around you. So if you're more of an Igni person, I suppose you could do that, but I'm going to be using that in a different build a little later on. So as you can see, you do still take damage, so you do have to be a little bit wary of that, but you have a lot of options available to you to mitigate that damage and get it back. So that's why we use those decoctions. You can see there we have got the Troll Decoction on, so this is Troll Decoction, Ancient Lesson Decoction, and the Echidna Decoction, and you can just slow the enemies down a bit, chip away from a safe distance, and be getting your health back. And you can always just use Superior Swallow if you need, for a little bit of a bonus there. This is the lower level version of it, and as you can see, still got a few points, so you could hit this this exact version of the build a lot earlier. Don't have to be level 53 or anything like that, level 50 something, but we just forgo fast metabolism, and then the rest of the build is exactly the same. One of the things about the rebalance patch 4.0 is you can get further down in these trees for a lot fewer points, so you could easily forgo Firestream if you were one short or anything like that. So it's very easy to actually set this up fairly early on. So this is like you could use this as soon as you're able to get the mutations, really, I think. Well, no, definitely you would, and have that same sort of version. and be very strong. So it's really good for that. So yeah, pretty much the same. You just don't have fast metabolism, so you'd either go with Ancient Lesson and the Echidna decoction. See, it's purple for Yrden there. See, we're matched. You could either go with Ancient Lesson decoction and Echidna, and then use the potions on top of it, a couple of potions, or you could stick with the Echidna, the Troll, and the Ancient Lesson decoction, and then because you don't have fast metabolism, you can just use one potion at a time, sort of one potion per battle. So you could just try that out, see what works for you. If you felt the healing was sufficient, then you could forego the Troll decoction there. So that's the purple level 53 version, but like I say, you could do it from a lot lower than that, and that's just to show that you keep pretty much this very similar sort of sign intensity, exact same effectiveness and everything else. So yeah, this is really cool and would actually last you all through New Game Plus now because of the rebalance to the sign resistances. Just to illustrate it, this is how you would use it against a couple of different enemy types, and just to demonstrate that it is that little bit squishy, so you do have to be a little more careful with it. Your priority is always to get Quen at the start or before you enter combat, but you do have that active shield, and you see how quickly you can zip your health back up with that, and you can do a lot of damage and get those insta kills as well, as you just saw there. So you can get a lot of health back from using the Echimera decoction as well. No, the Echidna decoction as well. Echimera is a different build. Anyway, it's very effective against things like Kikimores as well. You've got the trap and the burning and Aard and everything else, so your Igni and your Aard and all that kind of stuff. And you see, it's just a very effective build, and they've balanced it very well. And I feel like it'll be really good to do playthroughs with, and this is probably the best combination of Yrden and Piercing Cold. But as mentioned before, you can use the new Forgotten Woven set. It has the 6-piece bonus, where if you're using the whole thing, then when you have your enemies are in Yrden, they will take more damage from Aard. So I'm going to show that in just a little bit. First up, you've got things like wolves, all your standard enemies. So again, this is just what we're doing. You used Petri Filter and Tornial there. Tornial is another good one. And you've got the Yrden trap down, and then you can use your regular signs. Very easy to control the area, get those insta kills. It's always important that you can take out stuff like groups of wolves and all those standard enemies. Another quick thing that you might not know is everybody's aware that Yrden is very effective against wraiths, but when they do their thing where they disappear and they have like 3 shadow wraiths that drain your health, Yrden actually stops those, but Aard will actually take out those 3 spectres before they can drain your health, before they can get in range. So you can just use an Aard sweep, wipe them all out, and bring back the regular spectre to be able to kill it. So that's pretty good. Ton of good things, like don't forget you've got Axii. You can always still use Axii if you like. Pull that Wyvern out of the air there. It's a level 100 Wyvern, and if you look at the damage totals here after it gets zapped down with Magic Trap, which is tons of fun, it actually took about 33,000 from a hit of Aard there. So this thing's got a lot of health, and it just gets absolutely melted, stroke, drained and Aarded and whatever else you want to say. So very effective against a multitude of things. This is the Forgotten Woven set, which you get from a cool new quest that they added. Swords look really cool. It's all the stuff from the Netflix series, which to be honest I've not watched. I tried it with prolongation just to try that out, but unblocked blow increases potion duration, but that is blows from a sword. This might be better with its own hybrid set, so I might do something separate with this set, but it's very much based around hitting enemies with Aard whilst they're under the effect of Yrden, so it is actually really good, decent for this build as well. With this one I took off Adrenaline Burst and instead had a couple of sort of sword based abilities there. So I had Razor Focus and Whirl, so that you can build up Adrenaline quickly, because you don't get the bonus from having the 6 pieces of Witcher gear, the Griffin Witcher gear. You don't have that massive boost and the defense boost from being stood in the giant Yrden traps, so you've just got regular old Yrden. So I actually took off Firestream just so that we could make space and have Razor Focus and use that to get an adrenaline point, and then use Whirl to build up some adrenaline, because you're more going to be wanting to use Superior Blizzard if possible, because you don't get the boost from the 3-piece Griffin bonus, which allows you to like double cast signs, a regular sign, when your stamina's full. So this build is definitely squishier again. You have to be very careful with it, and it needs a bit of work. So Be careful if you're using this Forgotten Woven set. It is cool. I reckon against regular enemies you'd be absolutely fine, but if you're going to be taking on big groups in the Nilfgaard camp, then just kind of watch out for that. You can see here that I try it out, and it's the exact same thing. You want to get Yrden down, then get Quen up, and you are hitting them with Aard. Try and hit the enemies with Aard whilst they're under the effect of Yrden. It's very effective still, knocks them down like that. You do take a lot of damage if you get hit though by high level enemies. I think these are all like 104 or whatever. So yeah, a little bit dangerous. Make sure you don't use up your adrenaline like I did there with Whirl, because it's not like you've got delayed recovery and the infinite stamina. You're trying to get to 3 adrenaline points, but mostly it's about using the signs and having Ancient Lesson Decoction increase your stamina regeneration for the remainder of that fight. Make sure that you can keep Quen up, get a trap down, magic trap, and then use the massive range of Aard Sweep and Piercing Cold to decimate everything from a distance. A lot of fun and a really cool looking armor set, so we might re-explore that in another build, but it definitely can work in this one. I hope you like that updated sign build. I found this one really fun. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you again on the path for more build videos and content in the future. Thank you.